Hey guys, it's Bree and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so you can join in on the fun. Today's video is a little bit different than what I've posted in the past, as it is not a vlog for once. Today's video is more of a sit-down video about something I'm really passionate about, and this is kind of geared more toward those kids that are just now getting their college acceptance letters, or maybe if you're already in college and you're thinking about switching your major. I know I switched my major when I was a sophomore and I do not regret it one bit. So today's topic is education the right major for me? And this is by no means meant to defer anyone from being an education major. If you want to be a teacher, we will never not need teachers, and there's always room for people who are passionate about the job to get hired somewhere. So definitely, take this with a grain of salt. These are just some questions I think it's a good idea to ask yourself before getting into education, since there is a lot of things that you don't see on the base level of teaching that are pretty important to know before, choosing your major, choosing your career field. So I have 5 questions that I've written down on my phone, and I'm just gonna go through each of them and kind of explain them as we go. So question number 1 is probably the most important one, and it is there a deeper reason than just loving kids going into your decision? And what I mean by that is everyone who gets asked, why do you want to be a teacher, says, I love kids. It's because I love kids. And that is a great basis to start from, but it is by no means enough of a reason for you to choose this as a major. I feel like a lot of people coming out of high school choose education as a major because they're like, oh, I babysat or I nannied, or maybe you were an older sibling for younger kids and you're just like, oh, I love kids. But you also have to understand that you're saying that about kids that you have probably worked with for months or years or known from family members. And the reality of it is every kid that you have in your classroom, you're not going to like. You're going to love them and you're going to want to support them and be an advocate for them, but some of them are going to push your buttons. And so you kind of need to have a reason behind just loving kids, like that is just a deeper meaning. And there's, again, by no means a problem with just loving kids and wanting to be a teacher, but just kind of have something to back that up. Question number 2 is, are you a strong group worker / can you positively contribute to group projects? Education is a huge fan of group projects, because when you're a teacher, you're gonna have your team teachers that you work on everything with. So in classes, they really like to prepare us for working as a team. So if you're one of those people that just prefers to work alone, if you prefer individual work, if group projects have not gone well for you in the past, education might not be the best major, because when I tell you we do group projects all of the time, I mean probably like every other week I have a group project assigned in one of my classes. So if you're one of those people who cannot let go of control of a project enough to allow other people to be creative and help, that's an issue. Or 2, if you're one of those people that gets into group projects thinking like, oh, I'm gonna do the minimum amount of work here, or like, oh, I'm gonna pick the easiest part, you're gonna have to find a happy medium. I'm definitely more toward the OCD side of like, I would rather just do it all myself, but I've found that education has definitely taught me to let go of the reins and allow other people to take control, because you will stretch yourself so thin trying to do everything. Question number 3 is probably the hardest one I have on here, and it can go either way for anyone, but it's, can you get past the negative stigma that education majors deal with on a daily basis? And what I mean by that is, if you're a business major or you're a biology major or you're, like a history major, and someone asks you, what's your major? And you say blank, one of those things, no one bats an eyelash. Everyone's just like, oh, that's great. Like, what do you want to do with that? Like, oh, la-ti-da, like, freaking fabulous. But if you say education, you're gonna get, do you know how much you're gonna get paid? Are you sure you want to be a teacher? And I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty infuriating, but you have to have the personality to get past that. So in my 4 years as an education major, I have gotten that question almost every time I've said I'm an education major, and it's kind of hard to get past it, but you just have to remember that you're not there for the money. You are there for the kids. You are there for those kids who don't have the best home life, or who maybe wouldn't make it to college if you weren't there, or who don't have strong support systems and need an adult to believe in them. So, question number 4 is, are you aware of the behind the scenes of teaching? So what I mean by that is teaching is not just a 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. you go to work and then you're done kind of job. It requires lesson planning, it requires grading, it requires scaffolding for gifted and talented kids, as well as scaffolding for the lower level kids. It requires, tutoring. It requires all of these things that you take home with you when you leave that school building. So yes, you get weekends off, and yes, you get summers off, but during your work hours, you're going past a 40-hour week almost every week. And there's a lot of work that you have to do at home. So as much as you love working with kids and are passionate about teaching, you also have to think of the flip side of that, which is, I'm doing a ton of work at home, I'm planning for my classroom outside of my classroom, I'm funding the decorations for my classroom and things like that. And obviously, really the first year is the toughest, and then you kind of get into the swing of things with teaching, but you definitely have to be prepared for everything that goes into your workday. And the final question is, are you prepared or okay with a non-traditional schooling schedule? So, college classes, you can pick them all by yourself. You can go to class and be done at noon, or you can start at noon, just depending on if you're a morning person, a night person, if you have a job, if you don't have a job. However, education, when you get into the upper levels of it, you don't really have a choice with your schedule. There's typically about 2 class options, and they don't differ that much, and you're not on campus as often anymore. So it's a ton of field observations. So you're going to schools, you're going to professional developments, you are learning in more of a hands-on environment that is away from the college lecture toward the end. And then at the end of your college career, and I would say this is true for I want to say all public universities in not Texas, in the United States, but you will have to correct me below if I'm wrong. Your last semester is not on campus. It is a full clinical teaching / student teaching semester where you are placed in a school district and are essentially a teacher's assistant, unpaid, for an entire semester. So you're in the same classroom, you're helping your teacher grade, lesson plan, do all those things I talked about before, and you are no longer on your college campus. So you just kind of have to be prepared for something a little less traditional than what you've seen in movies or heard about. So those are my 5 questions to ask yourself before getting into the education major. And again, I do not mean to defer anyone. It is a really, really great major and so rewarding. And if you're in it for the right reasons, it doesn't even feel like you're in college. It is so fun, and you are meeting such amazing people, because typically people who want to be teachers are very warm, they're very open, they're all very nice. So I don't regret it at all. I don't think any of you will regret it. There are just some things that I wanted to bring to light about making that decision, because it is such a big decision. But go ahead and give this video a like if you enjoyed it, or if it helped you decide on anything, and subscribe to my channel down below for more vlogs, education videos, hauls, beauty, fashion, all of that fun stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video.